Hello and welcome back to the last walkthrough video in the DMP Seminar series, covering royalty processing. At the end of the video, I'll explain how to contact us. Let's start with what we have in the database. We created several CWR files, shown here, and then we uploaded 3 simulated CWR acknowledgement files, shown here. That is required for today's task, which is processing royalty statements. DMP Seminar allows us to simulate them as well. Right now, we have none, so let's add one. The default society is set for all attendees of a seminar, in this case PRS. We'll go with this. We'll also not use multiple currencies, choose only performance rights, and not choose the option to add works not in the database. We'll do another statement with those options a bit later. We can save the file and then open it in a spreadsheet tool, like Excel or LibreOffice, used in this video. Now, this is not exactly what a PRS statements look like, but it serves the purpose of learning how to process any statement from any sender. And these columns are quite typical. The first one tells us who the sender is. The next 2 tell us where the money is actually coming from. Columns identifying the publisher or client, meaning you. Then the columns about the work receiving royalties, in this example the title, writer's last names, society work ID, a very important column, followed by an ISWC. At the end we have the rights type, maybe currency, empty in this case, and the amount. Actual statements usually have 20 to 30 columns. Let's process it now. We click on Royalty Calculations. The first thing we do is select the file. The file is pre-processed by your browser, and we have some options to choose from. These have not changed, but these have. I'll explain them one by one. We have 2 algorithms. We'll use splitting by manuscript shares and applying fees. Then we enter the default fee. We'll cover specific fees a bit later. Then we choose column with the identifier we'll use. It will be work ID. IT would actually be called tune code by PRS. Then we choose whose ID this is, in this case PRS. And then we choose the column with the net amount. Then we click on process and we have our outgoing data. Let's open the file. We can see that we have our original columns, followed by additional ones. We also have more rows than in our original file, 2 for the first row, 2 for the second and 1 for the third. But, in this column, we can see that this work has not been found. This is because we forgot to import one of the acknowledgements. Okay, so these are original columns, all data in them has been preserved for each row. These have been added by DMP royalty calculation, and we'll explain them right now. First column tells us what percentage of the work is controlled by this publisher. This means that we received payment for this share. I said that we have more than 1 row for every original row, and here we can see which writer this row applies to, and their roles in the next column, and their manuscript share in the next. And then we have our actual calculations. I will not go into details here. All of this has been covered in great detail in our royalty management series, linked here and at the end. By using pivot tables, in a minute, you can get per writer outgoing statements like this one. You will also be able to see which works were not identified. Import missing ACKs or enter remote work IDs manually. Then rerun royalty processing. I mentioned the other algorithm. This one splits incoming amount by calculated share. The columns we choose now includes rights type column. The added columns are, naturally, also different, but also there is an additional row for the publisher. Please, also note the different currencies. Usually, this output is not used on its own, but instead filtered and then used as incoming statement with the first algorithm. But the explanation is beyond this video. It might be included in your seminar, of course. I mentioned fees. Have a look here. For this work, we entered 10% fee for Carmen. I love pivot tables. For this example, we filtered for this one work, and can see that out of £41.22 we received, after our fees, Carmen got £18.55, and John £16.49, due to different rates. Here are the series about royalty management, free DMP and that green thing, the powerful commercial solution. If you are organizing seminars for music publishers, and want to use DMP Seminar service, follow the first link in the description. We have special deals for schools and universities. Like, share, subscribe and keep watching.